If you've taken the copywriting character quiz and your result was the artist, this video is going to tell you a little bit more about what that means. Before we dive in, though, I want to give a quick caveat, and that is the artist is one of 5 copywriting characters, and you may be more than one. So if you took the quiz and it came up as the artist, and you're looking at the other characters and thinking, I actually feel like I might be a little bit of a rebel too. That's probably true. In fact, we've found that most people have a primary copywriting character and a secondary copywriting character. So there are absolutely rebel nurturers out there, or rebel scholars out there, or artist rebels. There are a ton of different combinations, and they show up in a ton of different ways. The purpose of the copywriting character quiz is just to set a baseline that then can become developed into your unique version of the character. So let's dive into the artist. After taking the quiz, if you received the artist, that is the voice that really aligns with being outside of the box. It's creative, it's innovative, and experimental and playful. If you're the artist, odds are you don't want to show up and just do what everyone else is doing. This is different from the rebel who breaks outside of the box because they want to break outside of societal norms, or they want to break outside of what everyone else is doing. This comes from more of a creative place, an innovative place, a place of curiosity, a place of everyone else is doing this. I wonder what would happen if I did that. It shows up in content through a lot of different mediums. It's not necessarily artsy as you may think it. You may look at the word artist and say, oh, well, I'm not artistic. Doesn't matter. You might still have that artist voice. It can show up through your content as descriptive language, even poetic. Maybe you like to describe things, or maybe you like to rely on metaphors and refer back to beautiful scenery that you've seen and really paint a picture for your audience. Or you might really rely on storytelling as a means of conveying your point. You really like to go back and share your own experiences and how your experiences tie into the situation you're talking about. You also may like to try experimenting with different topics, approaches, mediums. Maybe you use the same platforms, like, for example, Instagram, but you approach your grid in a totally different way. You approach your stories in a totally different way. You like to experiment and try things instead of having someone else tell you what it is that you should be doing on these networks. In fact, the word should doesn't really work with you very well. You don't like being told what to do. You like to explore and find what's right for you. You also tend to appeal to authenticity within your content. You would much rather spend time sitting down and creating content from the heart that really shows off your values, your beliefs, and your creativity than following some sort of pre-structured formula. If you have the artist's voice, a pre-structured formula often can feel really restricted. So when you're writing, when you're creating content, whether it's a blog post or an email campaign, whether it's an Instagram story or a Facebook post, whatever content you're creating, your goal is often just to sound as authentic and transparent as possible, while also really allowing your audience to see the beauty of what you see, to see the unique angle that you see in your mind. You look at things a little differently than everyone else, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So if you are the artist, embrace the fact that you walk to the beat of a different drum and that you have a different way of looking at those strategies, those formulas that seem to be a dime a dozen in this space. And remember, the artist isn't your only voice to pull from. You may have other copywriting characters, other aspects to your voice that you can pull in. This is the primary if you tested as the artist. And if you want to go and retake the quiz to find out who your secondary may be, that will allow you to build an even more dynamic voice.